Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and in today's video I'm going to be explaining what I learned in the year 2022. 2022 was a very interesting year. I completed engine swap on the E30. I was insanely passionate about gym pretty much the whole year up until my surgery, which sort of upset things a little bit. I came across lots of influential people, some of those being Iman Gadji, quite a controversial one, but Andrew and Tristan Tate, Patrick Bet David, and read quite a few different books. And I also graduated from Griffith Uni, completing my Bachelor of Business in Supply Chain Management and Logistics. Starting off with the first thing I learned in 2022, and that is change. And what I learned was that if you want to make a change and you want to get something, so say you've got some big goals and big aspirations and you want to get there, well, you need to imagine yourself and think, is that person worthy of accomplishing that? And if you can't, you've got to think about the person that you're going to turn into to accomplish that. And so a big thing of mine was friend group. Pretty much, you know, if you want to change and you want to get something, you have to change yourself first. And so I started looking at situations a lot more critically in the way, and I guess it also relates back to that point of you are the sum of the 5 closest people you hang around. So if you hang around 5 people that are all very unmotivated, they don't have any aspirations for life, they drink, smoke, blah, 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 whatever, that's what you will become. No matter how strong-minded you are, inevitably it's going to happen, and some of those bad habits are going to wear off in you, and it's going to limit you in terms of what you can do. Whereas if you surround yourself by positive people that are going to like promote you and going in the same direction. So say for myself, I hang around people who have the same like entrepreneurial mindset now, and it's quite difficult to find people who have that same mindset. Not very common. The thing about it is that when you're surrounded by people who are constantly going non-stop, then that just raises the level of what's normal, and you accept that as normal. So an example that I can't remember, I heard that someone said, like, you know, if you move into a household with 5 people that go to gym, like Jack, whatever, and you don't go to gym as much, you are inevitably going to start going to gym as much, because that's just the environment you're going to be around. It's going to bring you up and you're going to get to that level. So I have always been pretty passionate, driven and whatnot, but I just needed to come back to my roots, sort of have a bit of time by myself, think about everything critically, what's benefiting me, what's not benefiting me. And I'm so, I have the goal, I know what I want to achieve, I know what I want to get done, I know what's up, and I'm not going to let anything get in the way of that. And so that's why I've been a lot more critical about what happens in 2022, and sort of explains why I had that bit of a change. And that leads on to number 2, which is purpose. And yeah, I guess in 2022 I just learned exactly what I want in life. I mean, not exactly, it wasn't exactly, you know, I know exactly to the T, I want this, but I have goals, and I know that I'm going to do whatever it takes to get them goals. And so it also relates back to change in order to get something what you want. I learned that the purpose I wanted was very important. Life wasn't worth living the way I was before. So having a purpose is one of the most important things ever, because it keeps you alive, you know. Every day I wake up and I have a goal and I smash it out. There's not an hour in the day where I don't constantly think about, you know, what I want to achieve and how I'm going to achieve it and what I'm going to have to do. So before it was like, you know, go wake up, go and work on cars, you know, see a few friends, it's like, you know, it's still good fun, but I just got bored. It's like, just super bored. So that's one thing I learned in 2022, was that, you know, I need purpose. Purpose is very important to me. It's important, it's how I function. And if I don't have it, I just crumble. And there's been multiple times in life where I've had examples of that. And I know this theme has happened throughout multiple times in my life. Whenever I lose sight of a purpose or a goal, or whenever I get my mind off things, like when I'm not constantly going up, I don't know, I just can't cope. Just don't know what the point of life is in that case. You know, I'm not a person who's driven and purpose of life is to be happy. That's just not who I am. Yes, happiness it's everyone wants to be happy, but my happiness and satisfaction comes from working. and working my ass off and growing and learning and everything like that. So number 3 is that I learnt the power of time, and that sounds super cringy and cliche and doesn't really make sense, but I had a big reflection probably about a month ago, and I sort of sat in the park and like, it was pretty strange. I sat in the park and just like did some reflecting, and the thing that I came up with was like, I thought about my 15-year-old self, my 15 and my 17-year-old self, and I put myself back into those shoes because I was very ambitious and, you know, I've always been determined to get stuff. And I remember back how I felt, and I was thinking, you know, what would happen if I knew that in, you know, 3 to 5 years time, I was in this position financially, this position in terms of still living with my parents, what else, with the cars, and even the petrol. If I knew I was going to sell, because I had the petrol at that stage, imagine if I knew, what would I think if I knew I was selling my first car and making a $30,000 loss? So, and there was heaps of things. It was like, you know, what have I accomplished? I haven't really accomplished a whole heap other than like a business degree, and yeah, I've got a lot of stuff done mechanically with cars, a lot of engine swaps, and I've still been working quite a lot over the last few years. But when I was younger, when I was 15 to 17 year old, I was very entrepreneurial in terms of, I had my own car washing business, and I'd go around and I'd wash people's cars and like had my own business doing that type of stuff. Like I think I was 15 years old. I was 14 to 15 years old, and I was going around and I had my own business. And I had like all these clients all around the Gold Coast, and it was awesome. And like I've always been driven by results and like the idea of creating something. And so when I was 15 to 17, it's like, you know, if I would have thought that I would have created something, and you know, I sort of got lost in the trap, got a bit lost at a certain point. I sort of thought to myself, you know, if I was to look at my 21-year-old self or 20-year-old self, would I be happy? And then I also compared it to, you know, look where those 5 years are gone, those 3 to 5 years are gone. And if I don't do something about that, in another 3 years, I'm not going to get anywhere, and it's going to be the same type of thing. And it's, the lesson I'm trying to say is that if you don't constantly work on something, like time just goes so quick. I don't know where the last 3 years have gone, but it's gone insane. And yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I learnt the power of time. I learnt that you need to make the most of every single minute of every single day. And yeah, like man, I'm working my ass off trying to get this business going and whatnot. And like a whole day, which I'll be working about 8 hours, just goes so quick. So quick. I don't, it's so strange. But anyway, that was number 3. The 4th thing that I found was that reading is very powerful. And that's quite a funny thing to say, isn't it? Because I'm like 20, I'm almost 21 years old, and only this year, specifically in the last 6 months, have I started reading books. And yeah, I feel like they're so powerful, and not just fiction books. I will not read a fiction book. I do not understand the point of reading a fiction book. I will never do it. No. So only non-fiction stuff like financial books, self-improvement, you know, habits, psychology, well-being, health, anything that provides value in a form of education. So good. And so yeah, a few standout books is Atomic Habits, Money Master the Game, which is what I'm reading at the moment. It's huge, I'll show you. That one there by Tony Robbins. 600 pages long. I'm on about 300 in. I read a marketing books, which is Sell Like Crazy, and there was a few other ones called The Slight Edge, and I think that was about it. So I've only read about 4 books so far, but I've set a goal for this year. My goal for this year is to read 52 books in the year, so a book a week, and yeah, I've got all the goals and systems in place so that I accomplish that. So at the moment, I'm reading 60 pages of this one a day, which is a decent effort because sometimes it is a little bit slow, it's just a lot of numbers and whatnot, but looking forward to it. And yeah, that's the 4th thing I learned in the year of 22. I actually really enjoy reading. And that leads on to number 5, which is I love learning. Which is quite surprising. I went through the schooling system, I went through the university system in a business, and to be honest, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I hated uni, and I think it might have been just because of the timing, where we were in like COVID. And everything like you know, online lectures, workshops. I had about 2 months where it was just a normal university where you'd go in, and then it just changed. So I think that's sort of partially why. But even school, I did like school only because it was pretty chill, and I got to see my mates every day. But learning was never fun at school, and that's the thing. Like, I love learning, which I've realised, but just not through traditional ways of education, in the way that they teach that you can't make mistakes. There's only one way to do things, and it's just so wrong. So these things that I'm learning through books, I love, and like going out and doing new things, and you know, not being afraid to make mistakes, because honestly that's how you learn stuff, through experience. And I feel like the education system sort of scared people away a bit. They've ingrained you to, you know, not make mistakes, don't go out and do that, just be a good employee. And you know, I watch a lot of videos, or I have previously watched a lot of videos on the education system and how it's trying to make you a good employee, and not an employer. But yeah, that's the fifth thing that I've learned for the year 2022. And number 6 is that this is only the beginning. I know from the last 4 months that I've been on a trajectory that is unstoppable. I've got so much that I want to accomplish in life, and I've got just this laser pointed focus to the goals and the aspirations and everything like that. In all honesty, I'm not going to stop until I get it. I'm not going to let anything get in the way. And you know, I feel like it's just such a very exciting part of life, you know, learning so many new skills, not having anything to hold me back. You know, as previously university, I think that was a bit of a restriction, to be honest. But man, it's so exciting. Like, I cannot explain to you how enthusiastic and excited I am to provide value to everyone, not just through YouTube, because I've been pretty slack with YouTube, and you know, I've just been going hard on everything else, but providing value in every single thing that I do, trying to aim for perfection in every aspect. And I know that's probably not an achievable thing, but aiming for it, that's what I want. So anyway, I just want to say a massive thank you. If you did make it to the end of this video, leave a like or a comment, and let me know what you think. If you're a passionate, hard-working person and you want to get in touch, you know, feel free to drop a comment, contact me on Instagram, and we'll have a conversation and go from there. I feel like it's such a cool platform that we've got. We've got YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all these powerful tools, and you know, a lot of these days we use it for the wrong things. And so, yeah, I just want to say that thank you very much for watching, and don't be afraid to ever ask anything or get in touch. So thank you guys, enjoy your day, and I will see you in the